6 months, 20 storms, 7 hurricanes. But at long last, we're done. Hurricane season 2023 will go down in the books as the 4th most active on record. Record warm sea surface temperatures helped supercharge the season, even working to counteract the effects of an El Niño. El Niños work against the formation of hurricanes, but that wasn't enough this year. The first storm formed in January, catching the National Hurricane Center by surprise. So much so that it never even got a name. The Hurricane Center did highlight a special area in their outlooks, but argued that it wouldn't become tropical or subtropical. But it did become subtropical. In fact, it was the spitting image of a textbook subtropical storm. At the core of a mid-latitude low, a small ring of thunderstorms blossomed over the Gulf Stream. They began extracting energy from the warm waters rather than the jet stream. That core then pinched off, reminiscent of a classic subtropical storm. The storm also shed its fronts, one of the requirements for subtropical classification. And satellite data showed winds over the 39-mile-per-hour threshold for tropical or subtropical status. In fact, the sensor derived gusts over 50 miles per hour. The storm, unnamed, eventually made landfall in the Canadian Maritimes. On May 11th, the National Hurricane Center announced a revision, saying a subtropical storm had in fact formed back in January. It should have been named Arlene, but by then, it was too late. The next storm, which would actually earn the name Arlene, didn't form until May 30th. Then we were off to the races. Storm after storm after storm formed, but most had one thing in common. The vast majority avoided land.
If you like this video and want to see more like it, click on the like button. It really helps us out a lot. And of course, if you are not subscribed to the channel, subscribe. It's totally free. And click on that notification bell. That way you always know whenever we drop a new video or whenever we go live.
Part of this was thanks to the El Niño pattern, which began with a warming of water temperatures in the eastern tropical Pacific. That warmed the air above, causing air pockets to rise over the Pacific and sink over the Atlantic, cutting back on our storm chances. But that's just part of the story. El Niño set the jet stream racing across the southern United States. Those strong winds aloft acted like a wall, disrupting hurricanes as they approached North America. A few still made it, like Idalia. Idalia charged at the Big Bend of Florida in late August. But it too weakened as it neared the coast. Watch the inner eye wall fall apart as the circulation shrivels. This storm had previously rapidly intensified over the eastern Gulf of Mexico, thanks in large part to extremely warm ocean waters. I myself was in Perry, Florida, where the storm breezed through with gusts over 90 miles per hour. At one point, I stood in the calm eye. Birds flew in circles around me, trapped by Idalia's inward pull.
Now, of course, you are in the midst of the eye of the storm, where things are a bit calmer, but take us through what things are going to look and sound like here momentarily for you.
Yeah, so we're in the middle of the storm right now. Unfortunately, the backside is where we have just about as much of an issue, if not more, because look over here. You see the rain is beginning to come back in. The low-level clouds are beginning to come back in. We can only stay in the eye for so long. It's a very small eye, and as a result, we're going to, it's coming back. It's about to start up again.
Here's what it looked like inside the eye. You can see the stadium effect, or eye wall thunderstorms towering 40,000 feet above my head in all directions. The damage was significant. Roofs were torn off buildings. Mobile homes were damaged or destroyed. Sheds were flipped, signposts and streetlights toppled, and trees shredded. The damage was reminiscent of a solid Category 2 storm. Strange tornado-like whirlwinds called mini-swirls swung through the eye wall, locally enhancing damage. Flooding also affected Florida near the Steinhatchee River. But interestingly, Idalia was only one of 2 hurricane landfalls during the entire season. The other was when Tammy made landfall as a minimal Category 1 with 85-mile-per-hour winds. It hit Barbuda on October 21st. But over the open ocean, there were a few strong storms, like Franklin, which hit Category 4 strength in late August. Hurricane Lee then made it to Category 5 strength far northeast of Puerto Rico on September 8th. It underwent explosive strengthening, with winds jumping 85 miles per hour in 24 hours. MyRadar photojournalist Jack Branca and I flew into Hurricane Lee when it was a Category 3 shortly thereafter. The vomit bags definitely came in handy. In the end, most storms avoided the states, but the storms cumulatively churned out about 19% more energy than average. It was the 8th consecutive year at or above average, and the season included the 8th Category 5 to form in the past 8 years. And weirdly, California got a tropical storm, albeit on the Pacific side, with record-setting rains in Death Valley and Palm Springs. I was there for Hillary. Just 2 days later, Harold, the Atlantic's H storm, drenched South Texas. Meanwhile, meteorologists are already looking ahead to 2024, and there are signs it could be an extra busy season. For MyRadar, I'm meteorologist Matthew Cappucci.
Follow MyRadar on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Download MyRadar on iOS, Android, Amazon Alexa, Xbox, and Windows.